Hey guys, Donnie Morrow here, eXp Realty, Memphis, Tennessee, and today we're going to talk about some of the things you should look for in a real estate brokerage that you choose to hang your license. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video, and stay tuned. Let's talk real estate. Picking a brokerage, one of the most important decisions you'll make, whether you are a brand new agent picking your first brokerage or whether you're an agent that is looking at 2022 and going, man, I didn't meet my goals. I think maybe a different setting would help me out in 2023. I think I'm going to take a look at what other brokerages offer. Number one thing I'm going to tell you is there's not a magical brokerage. Whether you're in my brokerage, somebody else's brokerages, doesn't matter how great the brokerage is, if you don't do the work, you're not going to succeed. Number two thing I will tell you is if you do the work, there is no brokerage in the world that will keep you from succeeding. You could be at the worst brokerage in the world, but if you kick butt and take names and put in the work, you're probably going to be successful. Next thing I'm going to tell you about brokerages is don't buy into any brokerage that tells you they're going to help you sell a whole bunch of houses. They're not. The people out there, the public, are going to work with you for your experience, your skill level, and because they know, like, and trust you. They're not going to work with you because of a certain brokerage name on your folder. Not going to happen. In fact, when I go through my listing presentations and buyer presentations, I never mention the brokerage that I'm at, and I've literally had people who were ready to sign the paperwork for a listing and go, oh, I thought you were at so-and-so brokerage. And I've always said, no, don't work with them. I work with this company. They're the best company. I love them, blah, blah, blah. And they always sign. They've never not signed my paperwork because I was at so-and-so brokerage. So get that out of your head. Don't let one of these national brands or any other brand for that matter, including mine, tell you that they are going to be the reason why you are successful or that people are going to use you because of them. It is possible that if you have a dominant brokerage in your area, somebody might say, I'm going to use you because of this brokerage. It's also possible if you have a dominant brokerage in your area, somebody might say, my buddy had a bad experience with an agent from that brokerage. I'll never use you because you're at that brokerage. So it goes both ways. Don't get caught up in that nonsense, okay? What really does matter, though, is if they will support you. Will they help train you and then help you implement it? So what I see all across the nation is brokerages, some offer great training, some don't. But the average agent sells 6 to 8 houses regardless of where they're at. Because again, it's not the brokerage and the training is super important, but it's how you implement it that makes it important. So there's a couple things you need to look for. Will they train you? Will they help you implement the training that you've learned? That is probably the most important part. Is the broker or someone in the brokerage available so that when you have a question on Friday night or Saturday night, especially your first couple deals, will they help you out? Is your broker knowledgeable of real estate and how it works when they have to fight for earnest money for you? Do they know the contract well enough to help your buyer get their earnest money back? Do they provide a good culture in the brokerage, a culture of success? What do I mean by that? There are brokerages that would tell you things like, oh, you'll be lucky to sell 3 houses your first year. If they tell you that, run away. The reason they're telling you that is because they don't want to build your expectations up and then you'd be disappointed because they don't have a track record of helping people get successful quickly. One of the things that I tell people at our brokerage that I'm very sincere about, if they really want to, they can make $100 grand their first year. They can sell 20 or 30 houses their first year. It's not that hard to do if you have the right support. So that's something big that you should look for. And then, of course, look for location. If the brokerage is 45 minutes away from you and you know you're never going to go to the office because they're 45 minutes away, don't go to that brokerage. They may be amazing, but if you're never there and you don't utilize anything they offer, it's not going to do you any good. That's something to consider. Look at the other agents in the office to see if they have a positive attitude. Are you in a brokerage where there's a lot of people who are just sitting around whining and not doing anything and therefore it's bringing you down? That's not a great brokerage. Are you in a brokerage that isn't up on technology? Maybe a brokerage that has been around for a long time. They have a lot of senior agents that have been around in that brokerage in real estate for a long time and they're behind on technology. that's something that should be a red flag. So none of these things are necessarily definitive of, hey, I shouldn't go to this brokerage or I should go to that brokerage. I'm just trying to give you some ideas of what you should be looking for, things that might be red flags. I wouldn't rule out any one brokerage because, oh, well, they have this. At the same time, I probably wouldn't rule in any one brokerage because, oh, they have this. I would absolutely try to look at the look at the total package, look at everything. Sorry, got tongue twisted, because there really is no such thing as a perfect brokerage, right? Last, I gotta talk about commission splits. There's no such thing as a good broker conversation about commission splits. I do think the splits are important. You should look at them. However, I will also tell you it should not be your only determining factor, and you should look at the value that a brokerage provides for those splits. For instance, many teams charge a higher split than you would be at a brokerage. They have to in order to be financially viable, to be a viable business. But agents still go to those teams, and they stay on those teams for a long time, and most of the time make more money than the agents who are not on those teams. So how do they go to a team, pay a higher commission split, but yet they do it and they stay there and they make more money? Because of the value they receive that does actually help them sell more houses, and most good teams do a much better job than the average broker of actually selling a house. Okay, so check that out. Commission splits are important. Don't pay stupid splits for no reason. However, remember what I always say is Ferrari doesn't go out of business because Kia sells cars. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean the cheapest car may not always be the best deal for you. The cheapest brokerage may not always be the best deal for you either. I'd rather be at a brokerage paying a 60-40 split that helps me to learn how to sell 30 houses my first year, but I made 60% on 30 deals, versus a brokerage that has an 80-20, but they tell me I'm lucky if I sell 3 my first year because I made 80%, but it was only on 3 deals instead of 30. Who do you think made more money? There's a little bit of a concept out there sometimes that says that half of a watermelon is better than a whole grape, and I abide by that concept, and you probably should too. So I have to hit that commission split a little bit in the video. If you have any questions about the brokerage that you're looking at, thinking about, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to have the discussion with you because helping real estate agents is what I do. And certainly, if you would, do yourself a favor, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the content. Do me a favor, like the video so that other people see it, and maybe throw something down in the comments, what brokerage you're at, what you look for in a brokerage, what you think is the most important thing in a brokerage, what you think is the least important thing in a brokerage. I'd love for you to have comments down there because we always participate or love participation on the channel as well. Hope that helps. If you need me, feel free to reach out.